Okay, day number 46 of 100 days of code. Really one of those very tough days because you have to create a Spotify list from what do you call it? Using Spotipy, right? So the Spotify is what takes you to Spotify, right? I'm gonna scroll up. Spotify linking up with Spotify. So it was really tough kind of day because of what we had to do with the scripting and everything. So I'm just gonna walk you through what I did. Right, I'm gonna do it very fast because I thought I was recording, and let me do a quick check whether I'm recording as well. All right, I think we are recording this time. I did a recording earlier, and I was talking to myself, just walking through the code, and then I realized, oops, it wasn't recording at all. So very, very painful time wasted right there. So here is what we're going to do. We're going to start with scraping, right? And I'm going to show you how I did my scraping right here in the main .py. As usual, we use Beautiful Soup and request library, right? Beautiful Soup is what turns the page into what we can work with, but the page itself is downloaded to the request page library, right? So that's what we do right over here. We do the request first, and then we pass it. We get whatever we get. This is just to let us know if there are any errors. Then it's gonna give us the status, right? But what we do is we take the page or text, like whatever that comes back. We are interested in the text. That means we're simply saying get rid of the PHP code or the JSON or whatever JavaScript, and just give us the text part of it, right? And then that text part, which we're saying is called page contents, is what we pass into the HTML parser or XML if you like, and then you use the beautiful soup and you get the soup out of it, right? And after that, what we would do, right? I'm gonna try and run. I'm gonna run it up like this. Did I click run? I think so. Okay, I clicked it this time. All right. We're gonna, be welcome by this greeting over here. Welcome to the music travel, and then enter the date. And also gonna tell us the format that he's interested in. Um, so I've run one of the dates already. The way I'm gonna put the same date I ran earlier, 2010, 10/01. Uh, the reason why I'm doing that is because I've opened it over here. Actually, I used November, but either way, it's very close. I think the results will probably be pretty much the same. And we're just going to try and check that date and inspect it. This is the process that you do before you start scraping, because you're interested in the unique elements of the page, right? So you should click inspect on the part of the text that you're interested in scraping, and that's what we're doing here. So pretty much what we did, 2010. Okay, so the month comes in the middle, right? And so we got nothing out of this because of that. Let's try again. We're gonna put the month not more than 12 over here, otherwise we're gonna get an empty string again. So because we didn't get the date right first time, we can get it right this second time. I'm gonna say 2010. I like random dates anyway, but for the start I'm gonna keep it the same way. It's 2010. 20. Ah man, look at that. I'm picking in 2021 instead of 2010. I keep getting it wrong, but it doesn't matter because you notice that I'm gonna tap on this. What you're interested in is just getting a unique identifier, right? So there are some classes that you can look in here and find them. For example, one of the classes that I noticed was really popular with this text, right? If, for example, if I come over here, and especially the text itself that I'm interested in, and I hit inspect just on that text, one of the classes that I continue seeing is this one here, using a node truncate. Right, that's the title of the story, and a node truncate. And then let's pick the singer. For example, here it says Bruno Mars. You tap on that. Again, you see, is that this one? No. Let's click on Bruno Mars, and then inspect. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm gonna make that big again. Alright, and then do inspect. Of course, there's something going on with the computer loading and everything. But the way it says Bruno Mars, not the image, just right over here, you see that that same class again is what was more popular. A no truncate. Okay, over here it comes back again. So that's the class that I kind of use to scrape the stuff out. Just using soup.select a no truncate. Right, and then what it does is it prints just both the songs and I'm taking the first two parts, right? So this is the first part. I wish I used the same anyway, let's open this page. The reason why we're opening that page is because we want to work with what we're seeing on the other side, right? So here's what we're seeing on the other side, because we picked a different date, so it's pointless to work with it this way. Alright, so the number one song is Positions by Ariana Grande, and then Forever After All by Luke comes next. And if you come over here, you see that from our instruction using the anal truncate class, our first item is this one, which ends over here. All of this is part of that. And then secondly, we have this part. And thirdly, we have this part, which then leaves out the name of the singer, but just takes out the title of the song, right? Which is number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. Alright, so we ended on number 3, which is this part, and left out this part. But if we were to continue, we're going to get the list coming out in that way. So now that we know the order of it, we can now go ahead and say, okay, let's create two lists, right? The first one is for the songs, because songs comes first, and then the artist comes after. So that's what we're seeing here. Positions, Ariana Grande. I hope that's a good song. And afterward, what I did was, because I know the first thing is the song, I just created a variable which I called state and named it song. And then I start looping through the combined list. And I say if the state is equal to song, which is what it is because we have already hard coded it, it's going to come back as true. So what do? We take the songs, which is this list here, and append that item, which is item is this part here. Okay, you can name it whatever you want, and we're just looping through the combined list. And what we're interested in is get text, right? Get text. This one I edited just now. This get text, which has a capital letter T, or you can use get text with an underscore in between. This one is more Pythonic than this one. This is more Java kind of thing. And so what you can end up with when you call that method get text is this part, all of this, right? And this noise over here, which you're not interested in, will be dropped by just calling this method. And then what strip does is it gets rid of the preceding empty spaces and the succeeding empty spaces. All right. So we're now gonna be left with just this part which says positions, or the title of the song. And then we change this state to artist. You can change to whatever you want, because all we need to do is when we run it again for the next time, it fails this time. The state will be different, will not be equal to song. And then we're now focusing on the singer's part. I think you get the gist of it. We do the same with that, and then we change it to song again. We go all the way looping through, and in the end, we're going to have two lists, one of songs, one of singers, both corresponding. And if you want to list them too, you're just going to call up the zip item, and we'll loop through both together. Usually we loop through one item at a time, like we do here for this item in this list. But here, because we have two lists, one for singers and one for songs, we can say for artist in this and for song in that, and then merge them together. We're taking this artist and we're taking the song and linking them up with a hyphen. That's what we're doing here. In the end, you see a clean list of songs and artists, right? Like what we do over here. That's how we come up with it. So it's very interesting how Python does its stuff. I was actually trying to do a demonstration of how it looks like earlier, like over here where we said we have a list like this one, which is ABC, and we have another one which is 1, 2, 3. And if we use zip and print what it comes out of it, we see that it kind of say 1 link up with A, 2 link up with B, 3 link up with C in their corresponding order. So that's what we kind of did here with the songs and came up with this beautiful list. But overall, what we're after is the date and the list of songs. We're not really after the artist at the moment. We're after the date, and the date is what the user passed in when we gave him the prompt here, and they tapped in the date. This time they used 2020 11/01, and the songs we populated ourselves. And because I'm using this method which is called start, right? it kind of retains this part together. So I'm just going to comment it out for now, and I'm going to come through to the second section because I think we're done with our scraping initially. The second section is more of creating an account with Spotify and then creating an account with Spotipy. And once you're done with that, you're gonna get something called a token, which is right over here, token.txt. And you're also gonna get a bunch of other stuff that I'm listing up as constants. Um, Things like the ID from Spotify and your secret that you're also going to use. It's more like a password. And another thing that they call redirect URL, which is just right here at the top. The other two are up there. I'm just not going to show them to you like that, but I can show them to you because I don't really care about that much. And then you create this instance. Some people like to copy this whole part and pass it in over here, right on this part. But I like to create it separately, so I can call this the authorization manager and use the Spotify authorization, and then you pass in your ID, your secret, and you direct URI and everything else, and then you call Spotipy first dot Spotify with the capital letter S, and that's your SP object, right? Some call it SP. I called it Spotify, but and then once you're done with that, you kind of print out the line for you. This line over here, which has all your credentials right there. That shows that you are good to go, right? Awesome, cool. So we're done with the first part. We're done with the second part. We're gonna just kind of comment out some of the parts that we no longer need. For example, this part where it was printing out these classes, we're gonna comment it out. Okay, so next up is the third stage, right? Because we already get our authentication done and everything. Let's go on to the next part, right? Which is search for the songs from step number 1. So you use the documentation to search for that, and you use name of the song and the year. Okay, so this is the reason why we kind of carried and said we need the year, and that's why we're returning it over here. We're saying return date and songs. Our return method is returning two things at once. So when we come over here to the machine, machine is just the same as test, because this is just a playground where I was testing out my stuff. But you see, this is exactly the same thing that we had over there, and this is the same instantiation that we had over there as well. But this is the interesting part where we are importing main, and then for main we're calling that function which you said start. And remember, it returns two things: the date and the list of songs. So we're saying date, that's what we're passing over here, and then we're using the split method, right? So I was also doing another demo just to show what the split does, right? For example, if we have our date is this, and then we call split. What split does is it takes in whatever you pass in over here and split at that point. So we're going to have three parts: 0, 1, 2. So if you pass in a date to split, and then you say I'm interested in the 0 part, then we're going to get the year 2004 being returned. That's what we have here. So that's the year which we are going to pass over here, because we don't really can't hard code that. The user will pass whatever they are interested in, or whichever they're keen on passing. All right. So now that we get that done over with, the next thing that we are interested in is the song. So we're passing it like this: Spotify, and this could be any variable name. If you say the SP, they call it SP here as well. Then search this song and type is track, right? So we're creating the URIs of those songs, right? This search will bring us the URIs. Alright, I'm gonna try and show you what those URIs kind of look like very soon. But for now, just note that this list of songs has 100 songs in it. But what we're just doing is we're gonna just look through the first day, right? So let's try and see if we can run this machine. Alright, machine is simply the name of the class that I named it. I named it machine. Alright, so we're gonna start by the Alright, don't worry about the first, this printing out that just came out. It came out from here, from print.py. But I'm going to show you something interesting about that printout very soon. So let's pick up a year. We're going to pick a year like 2008. That's the year the economy crashed down, right? And just a random date from there. Okay, so it's gonna go through the whole scraping stuff that we had earlier, and probably gonna give us a little bit of a glimpse of what it sees on the charts on that year. All right, so my network is slightly slower, so that's why we're gonna have a little bit of delay, but I'm sure it's within a matter of seconds it should be through. All right, so here we have it, the list of the songs that were topping the charts that year. Okay, and it's interesting to see that Rihanna is always talking on. It was always there in one of those names. All right, so this is something that I wanted to show you. Here we said print results, right? And then we have this kind of link here, which is uh, this whole stuff. I'm copying it, but you see we have 1, 2, 3, and we also have 1, 2, 3 songs, and that's because we limited it to P. All right, so this is what we were getting. Now, if you heard about PP print earlier, and I was just gonna show you. Okay, can you respond to what I'm clicking on? All right, there we go. This is your print out without PP print, but here it's coming out well formatted like this in a sort of a JSON format because we call PP print. And PP print is just that a library you can import. I have imported it over here, ppprint.import PP print, and then it kind of formats it out for you. What it does is pretty much what online JSON viewers kind of do as well. So if you come over here, I have one open, and if I clear this part, and remember I just copied the stuff that we had on the output. I copied this one of these lines, and I'm gonna come and paste it over here. So if I clear and Control V, you see this all the jumbled jumble that we have that's coming back from that part. Okay, I've already pasted. I'm not too sure why I'm hitting paste again. Okay, Control V, and then if you hit Format, you notice that you kind of get it very nicely done, pink coming back in the front. And what we're interested in is the URIs. Okay, those are what we want to grab it. But this format, which JSON viewer kind of give us, is the same format that PP print also give us. But if it's as long as it is like right now, and we only have a tiny screen like this one to view it, it won't be very good for us to see. Right, but just for knowledge sake, that's what PP print kind of does. It kind of JSONify the noise that comes back from it. So what we are after, now that we know we are dealing with something that looks like a dictionary, is we can grab the stuff that we're interested in, that URI, by navigating using the square brackets, right? Like we always do it with the dictionary. So here we have an item, and here we'll have a list, and we'll go through that and pick up the URI. But the URIs that we are really interested in are not the URIs with the artist, like the URIs with the songs. And one of the things that I've noticed is these URIs are in this part here, which is called items, right? That's where we get our URIs. But sometimes this URI is coming back as empty, so you might get an error there if that song is not available on Spotify. Right? So if the song is not available, the items will be empty. So this is why I kind of created it like this. If the length of this text.item is, because that's the item, is not 0, then that means we have the songs. Then we can go ahead and grab the items. All right. So one of the things that I've noticed is as you navigate into, just be careful that you kind of pick the right one. Because right here I'm gonna try and show you. This is actually the correct URI. After a bit of experimenting, you will figure out this is where the URI we're interested in is located, right? So if you come over here and reprint this part, let's see, and let's print the actual URI. I'm gonna use my P right there. Okay, and I'm not gonna print the type. I'm actually gonna print the actual URI right there. Good. So this is the URI we're interested in, and this is the one I was experimenting with. And I don't wanna lie to you. If you get any of these hierarchies very wrong, you're gonna end up googling a bunch of errors. And I'm gonna try and click if and see if my browser responds. Unauthorized 401 error on this tab. Let's see what's on the other one. 401 no token provided. all of these tabs that are open over here, you see that there were so many issues that I was encountering, and part of it was mainly because I wasn't getting the URI correct, right? So let's run it again. We're gonna print, and part of the other thing that you also need to note is there's this argument called scope over here. Yeah, so you need to keep it up in the same class that you're going to do all your operations with. So if you're using test.py and then trying to come up with something over there, it might not really work out that well. Okay, we're going to pick another random year. We're going to say in September of 2011, 19 September, right? This time around, what we're really interested in is taking a look at the URIs, right? Because we're trying to make a list of URIs, and these are the positions, or rather the links, that Spotify will use to identify exactly where the songs you're interested in are located. Excuse me. Okay, so it's running through in the background. As it does, we're also gonna, oh, there we go, it's already through. Okay, so it's printing both the first part where we say, okay, results, the text from the search, which is that long stuff, and then when we grab the first URI, which is this one, you notice it has artist on it, and this one got track on it. So the accurate one is this one with tracks, because we're making the URIs to the tracks. So that's why we're saying this URI is the accurate one. So now that we have done with the experimenting, I think you also might have experimented a lot and got a whole bunch of errors. That could be the problem. So we're gonna do a bit of cleanup. Alright, let's just check to see if your recording is still going on, because I don't want to do what I did last time again. Okay, so it looks like we're still going on. Awesome. So this is the line that we're interested in, where we then say, okay, we're done getting the songs that we're interested in, and then add them to this URI. We no longer need to print them out. Alright, so we now get all our songs into the URIs. The next step is, let's go back to our instructions. Spotify, add them, sometimes and then handle the exception. Alright, so some people use index error over here, right? Index error. But for me, I used if else, right? I'm not using else anyway. I'm just saying, as long as it's greater than, if the items part is not empty, then I know I can get my URI. But if you want to handle it with the error, you can go ahead and do that the way the course kind of says. And the last step of the course is just creating the playlist, okay? And what it does is you go through the documentation. So what I did is I came over here, and I was saying Control F, right? And then you can say create playlist, because that's what we are after. If you write create playlist, no, nothing is found. So maybe let's just do playlist. Whew, so many, 174. We won't finish today, right? Let's try create. Okay, 14 matches. We can just go through them, counting them down. Okay, user playlist create. Okay, this is the one we are after. I wish they could just call it user create playlist or create user playlist. That was better. This is really confusing. But you notice that we just grab the whole thing right there, and we come with it right here. Why do I have double? Okay, so this was more of playing around again. Okay, so let's get rid of that. Okay, we're creating a playlist. Okay, this is where we are. So compare this code, user playlist to create, right? That's what we're after. And then there's user, which is user right here. There's name, which is name right here. There's public, which is this part. Collaborative, which is this part. And description, which is this part. I'm showing this like this because I want you to see that it's the same method, right? Just, spread it across several lines to be readable. So I'm going to uncomment that part. And remember, we use Spotify. Don't forget that. Spotify, or if you say whatever you called it here and code it up here, is what you continue calling it. So we're calling that method based on that class, right? It's almost morning. I've been talking for a long time. So the user, if you come back to our documentation, we see that the user is the ID of the user. And if you remember what we did when we printed this, where was it? Okay, we've commented that out. But if you come over here where we had it earlier, it was like a dictionary again, and we had our this is the ID. It actually is given up if you continue. Okay, over here, right? So that's what we pass over here as well, the user ID. We could use spotify.me.id. It also works because .me is also the same as current ID, and the name of the playlist, right? This one we were given on the instructions, so we just follow through. They said name it like this. So this is the date and Billboard 100. So you can just copy the Billboard 100 and make it as an F string. The date we are already getting from our main class, right? If you are using same class, then you might have it as well. So you just pass it over there. Public, make that false. Collaborative, make it false. Description, yeah, just do anything you want, right? And so if we come back over here, because we're just about to hit the honey, which is this part over here, right? Create our fresh playlist. So that's what we're going to do, and let's run this class. Which year do you think we should go for this time around? I don't know which song was playing for 20. I'm gonna try and look that up. 2014 World Cup song. Because there were days when Shakira was topping the charts on the World Cups. We are one people. And Shakira la 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 la. Okay, let's try. Because there's something called Waka 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 I'm not sure which year that was, but anyway, let's just say in August of 2014, right? That's my new date, new random date right there. Okay, so we're waiting for it to show us the green arrow. Wow, Magic Brood was this. Oh my word, look at that. Oh, amazing. All right, so that kind of creates a playlist for us right there. Just by doing that, we should have our playlist coming now. I don't know where it is. Okay, there it is. All right, so if we open it, yeah, we don't see anything, but we see our description and the funny name that I'm using, right? Okay, cool. I'm going to delete it because I'm not really happy with the list of songs that were topping the charts there. I'm going to run it again and use a different year. All right. So, but the next thing that we want to do, as we noticed, is we need to. That's the last task. Yeah, add each songs that you made in the step number 3, right? Those URIs. So again, we go back to our item, and then we do. This time we're saying add songs. 37 matches, so we can just go through. Add songs, add to queue, additional, saved albums, saved episodes, shows, tracks. Can't choose the saved tracks. No, very close, but not really what we're after, right? Playlist, additional, playlist, 8 items. Oh yeah, this is what we're after.
It's 4 hours.
Oh no, it's 4 hours. I've been talking to myself for an hour because of that recording that I failed last time. Alright, so there we go. We're going to take it up. And you can pretty much see it's the same as the one I have commented out over here. Playlist ID is, we're saying this ID like we did with the user, is the playlist ID. So we just saying, going to say equal this, and then we use ID. I like using one inverted comma because I don't have to press shift. And for items, that's the list of songs that the songs URIs. So we're just gonna copy that and place it there. I think we can just create a bit of space, not really 2 lines, just 1 line, and yeah, we can get rid of this other part. Position is done, is already passed already, so we're just gonna leave it like that. Okay, and we have one red line. Do you know how to fix this one red line? Of course, you don't call a method without the object, right? So we call it Spotify up there. We're gonna call it Spotify dot playlist dot add items, and it will refer to it as because we already passed the ID like that, right? So we see that line go away. So let's run it one last time, and this time I'm going to create our final list, right? Which year? There was World Cup in South Africa in 2010. So maybe we could get a beautiful song somewhere around. I'm not sure if it was played in June or July. Let's use July, right? Just the 1st of July. Alright. That's South Africa's year that they hosted the World Cup. I'm kind of in a World Cup fever because of the one we're watching in Qatar. Oh my word, look at that. Not any of the songs that I was expecting, alright? But I'm sure that does it for our job, right? Um, there we go. We see our playlist right there, right? Ready to be played. You can see the green playlist right over there as well. Okay, so we have just 3 songs. Just 3 songs. And you know why we have 3 songs? It's because we were limiting the song's names over here, right? So maybe we can create another one last one this time. One good last one. I hope we find better songs. Hey, not what I'm seeing. Not what I'm seeing. Okay, so which year would you want to travel to? I'm going to go to the year where we had Westlife. I'm thinking 2006. Did we have Westlife 2006 or 2010? Let's see, 2010. In September. Maybe 15. Alright. No, I wasn't looking for that. Amazing. So it looks like we might never get Never Rains by Pause for us. Okay, let's see if that playlist comes through. We're just waiting for the arrow to show green over there, right? And that will be the last thing that we do today. I don't even know what these songs are. I'm so disappointed with these. I was hoping I was gonna get one sing-along song, you know. Oh my word. This is not a good playlist. I'm just gonna delete it. I don't need it. Okay, so we have another one for 2003 which just came up. This one here, right? And the only thing that we changed is not is besides the date is also that we now have all the 100 songs linked together, right? Which we're talking on that day. Yeah, we have all of them right here, and none of them are really good songs apparently. I wonder what was wrong with people back then. But this one kind of looks like a good one. I see he has got a cowboy head. You see a lot of E's there. That means they are explicit songs. So many explicit songs. Just look at that. Crazy, yeah. Oh man, not even one from Westlife. So I think I kind of missed the year. But anyway, for the sake of the exercise, I think we've got it done. And from here, we can do whatever we want with the list. We can start playing right here. Or what happens if you do this? You can share. So you can just copy the list to the playlist and send it to whoever you wanted to send. Okay, we managed to get 92 songs, right? So the ones that were missing, our program didn't crash on them. So that's kind of cool. We could also add another print line like done exporting at the end so that we can get the idea. Because apart from this, we didn't have any much feedback. Okay, so pretty much what we were supposed to do on this exercise. If you have any comments, just state them below. If you want to look through my code, I think I'm going to try and upload it on GitHub as well. Okay, adios, amigos and amigas.